it's sad having to like play that sort of tension with him because we do get along so well in real life.
A moth. That probably means change and growth.
No, that would be a butterfly.
So what's a moth?
Death. If you believe in that.
There is some obvious tension between Ellie and Joel. Can you talk about her feelings towards him and how their shift in their relationship has changed her as a person and ultimately impacts the way she sees the world?
Yeah, there is definitely, her relationship has definitely shifted between season 1. I think Ellie has sort of a lot of, she's definitely like distancing herself from him, and I think that's not even necessarily like a conscious thing that she's like trying to do. It's just with sort of new information that she's got and sort of the new ways that she's sort of, I think she's looking at him differently, and that's naturally creating a bit of like a distance from him, and I think that she kind of hates herself for it, but like I think it's a thing that is quite relatable, I think, for a lot of like teenagers with like father figures, but especially with sort of Ellie and Joel and the stuff that's happened with them and the backdrop of sort of this apocalypse that they're in. I think there's just a lot of like trauma there. Yeah.
And how does that kind of impact the way she sees the world now? Like with this tension with somebody she thought she could trust or sees him differently.
Yeah.
How is she looking at everything now?
I think Ellie always struggled with trust and with especially in the world that she literally grew up in, and I think now that has amplified, and she's looking at the world definitely through a more critical eye, and through like I think she's got a bit harder and tougher, and her skin's got a bit thicker, and that obviously will like impact how she sees everything and everyone.
Well, so what was it like for you slipping into this, your new Ellie and Joel dynamic, given how close you are with Pedro and what a lovely friendship you have? Because it's obviously a lot more tense.
Yeah, it's definitely more tense. It was kind of, it's sad having to like play that sort of tension with him because we do get along so well in real life. But it's also like it's fun to do new stuff. I mean, we were sort of the sort of dynamic Joel and Ellie that people got to know and love in season 1. So it was kind of cool to like try different things with him. But it's sad. It's not nice being like cold to someone.
Can you talk a little bit about Ellie and Dina's TV backstory before we meet them in episode 1 and what that upcoming romance means to Ellie?
Yeah, so I think that obviously Ellie's been living in Jackson for a while and for like 5 years, and so obviously made friends and connections, and has a little bit of a crush on, or quite a big crush maybe on Dina, and I think is just sort of testing the water and doesn't want to get hurt and doesn't all of that stuff. Same thing we were talking about with like trust and stuff. I think that it's just kind of a bit scary for her, and but that relationship is one that will definitely like blossom and bloom, and Dina brings some of the light back out of Ellie, and it's a really cool story.
And that moment in episode 1 where they share their first kiss, what does that moment do you think means to her?
It means, I think that is a complicated moment for Ellie. I think there's feelings of like, Dina's like, I was really high, and Dina's like, and Ellie's like, well, is this real? Does this means a lot to me? Like, I don't know if this means a lot to you. And I think there's a lot of like, there's a bit of like fear and like tension around that because she just wants it to mean the same thing to Dina as it means to her.
What has been the most rewarding thing about rediscovering Ellie in season 2?
Ooh, that's a nice question. I think getting to just like be her again was so nice, and because I spent so much time with her during season 1, and seeing how she's like grown up. I've obviously grown up between shooting season 1 and shooting season 2, and getting to come back and be this sort of older version of Ellie, looking at the world through older eyes, both me and her. That was a really cool thing to get to do.
Was it kind of challenging taking her from adolescence to like now adulthood?
It actually wasn't too challenging. There was some times actually where I'm like, I want to make sure that she feels older, because it's quite easy to slip back into like 14-year-old Ellie, because that's what I did for a whole year. But I think it was quite a natural progression because I'd grown up and she had as well.
What advice do you think season 2 Ellie would give season 1 Ellie based on the journey she's about to go through?
Ooh, nice question. I think season 2 Ellie would say to season 1 Ellie, you're right not to trust people. I think that's what she'd say. I'd say she'd say like, I think season 2 Ellie would like be very protective of season 1 Ellie and be like, yeah, kind of I guess warn her of what's to come.
And outside of your own storyline, what character storyline are you most excited for fans to kind of see this season?
I'm Abby's storyline is obviously like a new one and kind of the antithesis in a way to Ellie's, but also a parallel. And so I'm looking forward to people to see that and to see like Caitlin's amazing work. Like I'm getting to see Caitlin's work in this just sort of as a viewer. Some of the scenes like we're not in together, so I'm getting to just like watch and admire her performance. So that's really cool. I'm excited for people to see that.
And obviously, The Last of Us is such an intense show. Who kind of brings the light and the fun to the behind-the-scenes moments?
Isabela, who plays Dina, brings a lot of that. She's so like wild and free, and so she definitely brings that energy to set. And she's got like all these like grown men, all these like grips and stuff, just like laughing and being all soft and sweet. So I think that she's definitely has a power in sort of a lightness and a freedom.
When I spoke to her yesterday, she said you were her ally in set and that you had your own secret language. That was
Yes.
really sweet.
Yeah, it was cute. That was really cute.
Season 1 has some really big emotional moments, like with Bill and Frank and Joel saving Ellie. How does season 2 compare? What can fans expect? Will it be more heartbreaking, the revelations?
I think probably that's all subjective, but it was the intention going in was, you want to clear the bar that you set. And Craig and Neil and the entire team set a very high bar. So, if there was any, it was pretty well received. But if there was any critique of the first season, it's like where are the action elements of the game, right? What the players felt when they were immersed in the story, and that is what we give them this season in very large doses.
Can you talk to me more about your character, Tommy, because you take a more central role, and how expanding his character felt this season?
There's an expanded role within the community of Jackson. His family is growing. His son was born. My wife, Maria, played by Rutina Wesley, and I have a son, Benjamin. Joel, my brother's back and has been with us for 5 years, and he's become a very important pillar of the community. I've come to love Ellie as a niece and his family, so it's really becoming the larger the family gets, the scarier the world is, So I think that there's also that. There's a little bit, there's strength and bravery, but there's also a lot of fear that you might lose people that you love.
Speaking of those threats, last season we saw like some unspeakable evils, like the bloaters, but some of the threats actually came from humans too. And how severe are the dangers this season compared to season 1?
Well, I think it has more to do with different factions now. I think some years have gone by now since the first season, and people have found solace in either community, religion, or military means. So what happens when these things come together? I think there's a great expansion for this season with certain factions that go against each other and have different ideals, and at a certain point it's like death begets death begets death, and it's just this cyclical violence that is very pervasive in this world. And it may not even, I feel like the clickers and the zombies, the clickers are infected, are maybe more secondary to the true danger, which is humanity. And that's
Well said.
That's a really interesting point. Last of Us is such an intense show, so who lightens the vibe on the set? Is it Gabriel with his guitar? 'Cause I saw that yesterday. That was entertaining.
For sure.
Who brings the lightness to the set?
Definitely Gabe. I think everyone brings a sort of something. Well, something.
Yeah, everyone is. Everyone has a very playful, ready to play energy.
Yeah.
It's, and it's from the top down. Like Craig is that way.
Mm-hmm. There's no Debbie Downers.
Yeah.
Why is Debbie known as a downer?
Poor Debbie.
My mom's name is Debbie, and she takes offense to that because she's
Well,
a pretty bubbly
I'm sorry to all the
personality.
Debbies
Yeah.
about that popularized term.
We keep it light though. It's necessary.
So yesterday I spoke to Isabela about what it was like to become a newcomer this season, and I didn't get a chance to ask you. What was your experience, and what was it like kind of taking Jesse's journey and meshing it into the season story?
It was great. I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect stepping onto such a massive set. That was already a massive hit, but I was pleasantly surprised by everybody. The cast was so wonderful, and I really do think it does trickle top down. I think someone said that Craig casts by souls, and that really rings true, and the experience of it was really wholesome. It's surprisingly wholesome, and you know, any fears or anxieties I had were quickly alleviated within the first day.
That's so sweet.
Yeah,
He's a
that's true.
sweetie.
I learned this from the Utes. There was a bunch of unproblematic kings and queens on the set. That's kind of how.
Oh.
You know what they say? Unproblematic.
Yeah, no, I feel like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Isabela, can you describe Dina's arc when we meet her, who she is at the beginning versus who she is at the end, and what she's experienced?
Ooh, without any spoilers, I would say who she is at the beginning is somebody who's happy to be a part of Jackson, and somebody who's sort of a little bit of a light and relief for Ellie as well as the residents. I think she's a little bit more carefree. And then throughout the season, you see her, you know, in certain situations that really, really test her, and sort of you learn more about her, and she reveals herself in her true hand, because I think a lot of her happiness is sometimes her playfulness is a mask. And I'm really interested for people to see that, and how her relationship with Ellie grows as well.
And whose storyline are you most excited for the fans to see this season, and why?
Oh, I love Catherine's role.
Yeah,
plays
she's so
Gail.
interesting.
And Joey Pants.
And the way it connects throughout the season. I think you see her in the first episode, and it really, what happens is a wonderful storytelling.
Yeah, you're going to want to go back and rewatch
And
it.
it's,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
a
rewatch
character
it
that
so
didn't
far.
exist in the games. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah, but tremendous performance.
And also, season 3 has been announced. It was announced on Instagram, and the post was captioned, "It can't all be for nothing," or "It can't be for nothing." What can you share about what that might mean?
I think that's a line from the game.
Okay.
And
Neil.
I mean, it means a lot
It-
for a lot of different people, because we talk about these factions and we talk about the different approaches to these events, different perspectives on events.
The lengths we're willing
And,
to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of gravity being pushed and pulled.
Yeah, what are you being driven by, right? And if you sacrifice everything for that specific need or want, is it all worth it? You know, if you sacrifice your people or your time or your family.
What is morality? What is ethics?
Yeah.
What is humanity?
Yeah, it's definitely a conundrum
Yeah.
in the show.
I like the way that we ran around that question.
Quite
Yeah.
You
difficult.
still gave
Yeah.
me some good answers, though.
There's so
We're
much
getting good
cardio.
at this, you know? We've been doing this for a minute.
Professionals.
I'm not
pros.
good at this still.